What up, guys? Caleb Gedemer here today doing an echo file of the first place Philadelphia Regionals Buzzwole Garbodor deck. This was Caleb Gedemer's first place deck. And yeah, it's mostly normal. There's a few, basically just one tech card. Other than that, this list is pretty much the usual, what you'd expect. I'm not a huge fan of this deck. I'm not a huge fan of the deck at all. I'm not a huge fan of this list in particular, because it seems way too inconsistent. But it won regionals, so don't have to, but I'm supposed to deck profile it, and yeah, here it is. So there's 4 baby Buzzwoles, Sledgehammer, 30, and then 120 if your opponent has 4 prizes left. Swing around, which doesn't happen too often, but 80 and 20 more damage for each heads. You usually just use Sledgehammer the first few turns, and then use Garbodor to close out the game. A 3-2 Trubbish line, or Garbodor line, which is a bit thinner than I prefer. But it allows you to get Garbodor out, and then Garbodor does 20 damage times the number of item cards in your opponent's discard pile. So, once they start spending resources to try and knock out the Buzzwoles consistently, then they're using resources that fuel Trash Lanch, and so they can swamp you with Trash Lanch. Now, it seems easy to beat on paper, because, they're not doing too much damage, so if you just slowly hit the Buzzwoles until they die, then you won't have to worry about Trash Lanch. Well, that can work, but the problem is, since it's basic, you usually, if you're not using too much resources, are going to, I lost my train of thought. You're usually going to use some resources to knock it out, or to not die, or both. And that's still enough for Trash Lanch to start doing a lot of damage. And you have to take 6 knockouts. And like for Zoroark, you have to hit the perfect numbers every time to knock out these things. And you have to avoid playing items while also trying to play around the fact that you're weak to the main attacker. So it's very hard to play around, and I feel like that's what makes the deck shine. Next is a 2-2 Magcargo line, which I absolutely hate the Magcargo. It feels super inconsistent, but late game, it is relatively good. It just allows you to sort your deck out, figure out what you need to do, and do it. This really more helps out late game, but mid game, when you're really just trying to set up your attackers, it sucks, in my opinion. I also haven't won regionals, so yeah. A 1-1 Sneasel, or a 1-1 Weavile line, this is the tech I was talking about. Evil Admonition does 50 times the number of your opponent's Pokemon with an ability. So, against Zoroark, that does a lot of damage, and this is something that can actually one-shot them. Against Malamar, does a lot of damage. Against a lot of stuff, it does a lot of damage. So, yeah, it's pretty good. 1 Diancie. Diancie is good because it allows you to do a lot more damage. 1 Oranguru because you need to get out cards. You need to get cards. And it combos with Magcargo. 4 Lillie to get what you need, especially first turn. It's a pretty good draw supporter. For Guzma, just to hit what you want off your opponent's side of the field, or even stall them. To Cynthia, she's another really good draw supporter. Yeah. To Kukui, good draw, and it allows you to do more damage. And then 1 Judge, just a little thing, just for disruption, I guess. You could also play a Tate and Lisa. I like Tate and Lisa in this deck, but my list looks a lot different than this. 4 Ultra Ball to get out the Pokemon that you need. Nest Ball, same purpose. 3 Acro Bike, just to get more consistency. As I was saying, I had a lot of problems with consistency. Acro Bike could help with that a bit. 2 Rescue Stretcher, to get what you need out of your discard pile, because we don't have Super Rod or Puzzle or anything like that. So Rescue Stretcher is a pretty good recovery option. 1 Switch allows you to switch. 1 Blower, I guess this is in place of a 4th Shrine of Punishment. I'm not sure what purpose Blower has that Shrine doesn't. But there's a blower in here. 3 Choice Band just to increase the damage even more. This makes knocking out Zoroarks a bit easier. 3 Shrine of Punishment. I guess there's a Field Blower in here instead of the 4th one. A 4th one makes more sense to me. But I'm also bad, so I'm not sure. But I feel like a 4th Shrine of Punishment would make more sense in the list. For Rainbow, this is not only important because you are playing 2 different types of main attackers, but you also need to be able to use your Weavile, so Rainbow works pretty well for that. 2 Fighting Energies to use your Baby Buzzwole to attack with, that's pretty useful. 1 Beast Energy, to increase the damage of your Baby Buzzwole. 1 Unit, which allows you to use Baby Buzzwole and Weavile. And then 1 Counter Energy, I guess is just sort of like a 5th Rainbow Energy. Honestly, I would prefer a Psychic Energy instead of the Counter Energy, but that's just me. So yeah, if this was my list, I would probably take out a Field Blower for Shrine and a Counter Energy for a Psychic Energy. But other than that, oh, and maybe the Judge for Titan Lisa. I'm not sure about that. But other than that, this list is pretty solid, and it won regionals, so it definitely has more results behind it than my theories. And I haven't really practiced with it too much, so yeah. Anyways, leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more deck profiles and occasionally weekly pack openings. Well, every week, weekly pack openings. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.